Now I want to bring in CBS News campaign reporter Bo Erickson. He's been following the Biden campaign from the very beginning, and he joins me now on the phone. Bo, glad to have you now with us. So what's the reaction from the Biden campaign at this moment?
Well, everyone's really excited because many on the campaign started 562 days ago when Joe Biden was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saying if he was going to win the presidency, it would be right there in Pennsylvania. As we know, the call was made, which granted us to declare him the president today. There's a lot of excitement around, but also there's a lot of work. I'm calling my sources trying to ask them, what's really going on in the campaign now? And they're saying, we're going into meetings. We're getting immediately to work. They have to put on this 8 p.m. Speech tonight from Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris from Delaware here. So that's going to take a huge lift as well. And they're also trying to prep the former vice president as well. President-elect, I guess I can say now.
Yeah. Yeah, now we can say that. So, Bo, you mentioned that Biden and Harris are going to be speaking tonight at 8 p.m. I'm wondering, are you hearing anything more on what we expect to hear from them?
Well, I was told by one person specifically, it's going to sound a lot like Joe Biden out on the campaign trail. And, I've probably listened to him for thousands of hours now. And so what that means is he's always ran on this unity message. That was the one issue that said really motivated him to run for president this third time as well. He's obviously going to try to bring together people from both the right and the left as well. I'm sure we're going to hear many elements about coronavirus and the racial justice, talking about racial justice in the country as well, as those are two elements that I think, while covering the campaign the past couple months, have really put into contrast his message versus President Trump's message in the past couple months as well. And then we also may hear some of those day one promises that Biden has made in these past 500 days, and just some of those I was just thinking of rejoining the World Health Organization, rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement. He also wants to send a bill to Congress on day one that will push for citizenship for dreamers. He also wants to implement a temporary moratorium on deportation so we can review the system. And then just two more, he says he wants to rescind that so-called Muslim ban that was implemented early on in the Trump administration. And he also says on day one, he will want to call world leaders and try to reinstill confidence, is what Joe Biden would say.
So, Bo, what our viewers are seeing right now is a live look at Wilmington, Delaware, the Biden-Harris headquarters, where we expect to hear the vice president-elect, the president-elect and the vice president-elect take to the stage this evening at 8 p.m. And as you were talking about COVID, it's interesting to see there in the parking lot, it's filled with trucks, and cars and Jeeps, and it's different from what we have been seeing from the Trump campaign to see people continue to be socially distant. You talked about the importance of COVID. In fact, we are in a pandemic, and depending on how you're counting it, the third wave of historic case numbers here in the United States. But what we heard from voters in our exit polls was less an importance on COVID and more a focus on the economy. Given the way that the numbers have broken, it's obvious that both Republicans and Democrats are very concerned about that issue. I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit more, not only about the Biden-Harris plans for the economy in more of a global sense, but also in particular Pennsylvania, since that was the state that now has put him over the top.
You're right. One of the elements throughout this campaign that Joe Biden actually trailed President Trump on was of handling the economy. So I think that is one of the largest hurdles that Joe Biden will have to hop over and try to conquer through this time. And it just does not start on day one of his presidency. It starts right now. He will want to speak to those Americans that feel like he is not the best one to lead the economy, and that is a hard pill to swallow sometimes. So I'll be interested to see how he specifically messages on that. And then, as you mentioned, the coronavirus as well. One element that I was talking with the campaign the past couple of days is that, there was some belief inside the Biden campaign that this would become a referendum not just on President Trump, but also his handling of the coronavirus. As viewers know, President Trump received many, many, many votes as well for president. And so this is, I'm not saying that it's going to be a complete reversal of how he's going to handle the coronavirus pandemic here, but I think there is going to be some type of recalculation of how he speaks to Americans that feel President Trump may have been handling this pandemic well, and how we move forward from here as the cases of COVID keep rising throughout this country.
Yeah, it is interesting, Bo, that economists felt overwhelmingly that Biden would be better for the economy as opposed to President Trump. But for Americans, they were very, very closely divided on that question. All right, CBS News campaign reporter Bo Erickson will continue to check in with you as well. Thanks for joining us on the phone.